Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Sabha TV, a perfect show to kickstart your day, bringing you national and international news that matter. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us begin with the headlines. JNU Students President Kanhaiya Kumar granted interim bail for 6 months. Stern observations by the court as it likens his offence to infection in a limb. JNU students celebrate court verdict. At least 16 villagers killed by Naxals in Narayanpur in Chhattisgarh. Killings after rebels suspect villagers to be informers. Government assures Rajya Sabha that it is discussing issue of taxing employees' provident fund with all stakeholders. Labour Minister Bandaru Dattatreya clarifies final decision will be taken only after the discussions. Rahul Gandhi's scathing attack on the centre in Lok Sabha says Prime Minister cannot run country, only a single opinion alone. BJP counters, says Modi is a hands-on Prime Minister. And United Nations imposes tough fresh sanctions on North Korea. Vote after Pyongyang's nuclear test last month. Reports from South Korea say that North Korea has fired short-range missiles into East Sea. Well, our top focus this morning, nearly 3 weeks after JNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar was arrested on sedition charges, the Delhi High Court granted him interim bail for 6 months on a surety bond of 10,000 rupees and with certain conditions. The court also likened Kanhaiya's alleged offence to an infection in a limb. Justice Pratibha Rani, who gave the order, was also critical of the slogans raised in the JNU campus, eulogizing Parliament attack case convict Afzal Guru.
हमारे हिंदुस्तान के 450 यूनिवर्सिटी के छात्रों ने, प्रोफेसर ने और जवाहरलाल नेहरू विश्वविद्यालय के विद्यार्थियों ने जो एकजुटता दिखाया है, इन तमाम लोगों की जीत है.
Celebrations in the JNU campus on Wednesday after Student Union President Kanhaiya Kumar was granted interim bail by the Delhi High Court. Giving a conditional relief to Kanhaiya, court instructed him not to participate in any anti-national activity and also asked the JNU faculty to monitor his political actions. Kanhaiya is likely to walk out of jail today after submission of all the bail-related documents.
लगने को नहीं, कोई बात नहीं.
पुलिस का केस कमजोर था और जल्दीबाजी में कन्हैया
कोर्ट का एक अपना फैसला है. कोर्ट के फैसले पर मैं कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करूंगा.
However, Justice Pratibha Rani of the Delhi High Court, who granted 6 months interim bail to Kanhaiya, made some unusual observations in her order. Beginning her order with a patriotic song, the judge said, such persons enjoy freedom to raise slogans in comfort of university campus without realizing that they are in safe environment because our forces are there on the battlefield. Justice Pratibha Rani was critical of the slogans raised by the students on 9th of February on the JNU campus. She said, the thoughts reflected in the slogans raised by some of the students of JNU who organized and participated in that program cannot claim to be protected as fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression. The court also likened Kanhaiya's alleged offence to infection in a limb. Justice Pratibha Rani remarked, whenever some infection is spread in a limb, effort is made to cure the same by giving antibiotics orally. However, if the infection results in infecting the limb to the extent that it becomes a gangrene, amputation is the only treatment. She said that she was inclined to provide Kanhaiya conservative method of treatment to enable him to remain in the mainstream. However, the order did not cease politics over the issue.
ये बात साबित करती है कि ये एक बहुत बड़ा षड्यंत्र है. अब कौन है इसके पीछे? अब डॉक्टरिंग के बारे में तो अब रिपोर्ट भी आ गई सामने. अब ये जांच करनी है, असली जांच तो यहाँ पे होगी कि कौन करवाया ये सब.
We have been holding the position since the moment he was arrested. The charges are false. The allegations are false. The sedition charges are atrocious, false.
All the evidence which has been produced against Kanhaiya, today those evidence makers are also saying that two of the evidence were doctored. So it's not we, it's them who are saying.
GNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar was arrested for his alleged role in an event at GNU on 9th of February to mark the anniversary of the hanging of Parliament attack convict Afzal Guru, in which anti-India slogans were allegedly raised. Two other GNU students, Umar Khalid and Anirban Bhattacharya, who too were accused of raising anti-India slogans during the event, are in judicial custody. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the government is consulting all stakeholders on the issue of taxing employees' provident fund, while the move comes following widespread outcry over the proposal mooted in the union budget.
The government has given an assurance that it is discussing the matter on taxing employees' provident fund with all stakeholders. This after there was an outcry against the proposed measure. Replying to a question in Rajya Sabha, Labour Minister Bandaru Dattatreya said there will be a final decision on this only after further discussions.
Regarding the EPF taxation, that EPF taxation already I have told him, but the stakeholders, we are under the discussion, sir. The many stakeholders are there, but stakeholders, we are under the discussion. Now I can't reveal many things, but our government is considering all aspects. That much I can say, sir. Regarding other question which he was asking.
Besides EPF, the Labour Minister also said that the government was considering the case of contractual and outsourcing workers.
Contracting workers and also outsourcing workers. This is also very serious matter, and we are discussing with all the people. Now we are also going to cover these two sections. One is contract workers and also outsourcing workers. We are going to cover under this act.
In the union budget presented on the 29th of February, the Finance Minister has proposed taxing 60% of the withdrawal from Employees' Provident Fund on contributions to be made after the 1st of April. The government has already hinted at a partial rollback. With inputs from Ravindra Shoran, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the upper house unanimously passed the High Court and the Supreme Court judges' salaries and conditions of Service Amendment Bill 2015 on Wednesday. The bill deals with benefits given to the judges of High Court and Supreme Court and has already been passed by the lower house.
There is certain pensionary problems for the judges who has elevated from the bar to the because the judges who will be elevated from the judiciary, they will get all the pensionary benefits. The advocates who will be elevated at the age of 48, 50, 55. So to get the pensionary benefits, 14 years of service is compulsory under the Act. So under such circumstances, the 10 years service need to be given to them. During the regime of UPA government, the amendment was brought to the Supreme Court judges' pensionary matters are concerned. But unfortunately for High Court judges, it could not be done. So I am bringing this bill to see that they should get the pensionary benefits, because it is all the constitutional office, when they retire, there should not be any discrimination while fixing their pensionary. This is retrospective from 1954.
And in the lower house of Parliament, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi launched a scathing attack on the central government on Wednesday. Now, singling out the Prime Minister, Rahul Gandhi said that the Prime Minister cannot run the country on his will alone. He criticized the Prime Minister for not consulting anyone on critical issues. He also charged the centre with muscling voices of dissent, citing examples of the JNU and the Rohit Vemula suicide case.
मोदी जी की फेयर एंड लवली योजना आई है, काले पैसे को आप गोरा कर सकते हो। इस योजना में हिंदुस्तान का कोई भी चोर अपने काले धन को सफेद कर सकता है, कहीं से भी उसने चोरी की हो।
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi's stinging attack on the government following the budget. Rahul questioned Prime Minister Modi's style of functioning. The Congress sign also alleged that even Modi's ministers are not kept in the loop over crucial decisions.
One day, the Prime Minister called all the senior opposition leaders and told them he had achieved what the Congress party couldn't achieve in 40 years. He told the Congress president that he had solved the Nagaland problem. According to the media, even the officials in the Home Ministry and the Intelligence Bureau had no idea.
नागा जो पीस एकॉर्ड हुआ है वह उस संबंध में जो भी जानकारी प्रधानमंत्री जी को देनी चाहिए बराबर मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी से मैं कंसल्ट करता रहा हूं और इसमें राहुल गांधी ने जो कुछ भी कहा है वह पूरी तरह से बेसलेस है.
Rahul Gandhi also counting UPA's efforts in isolating Pakistan internationally. He claimed it was the UPA's efforts that made the world community accept Pakistan as an exporter of terror. Rahul questioning Prime Minister's handling of relations with the neighbour.
Without any thought, without any vision, he decides to take a detour to Pakistan. Just like he did with the Nagaland Accord. He did not bother to ask anyone. He did not bother to ask the armed forces. He didn't ask the intelligence people, not even the diplomats. He probably did not even ask Sushma ji.
उन्होंने ये कहा कि प्रधानमंत्री की लाहौर यात्रा के बारे शायद मुझे भी जानकारी नहीं थी. तो मैं रिकॉर्ड सही कर दूं कि अफगानिस्तान से जब प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने प्रधानमंत्री नवाज शरीफ से बात की तो उसके तुरंत बाद उन्होंने मुझे फोन किया और मेरी राय जाननी चाहिए और मैंने उन्हें कहा कि ये एक आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स इनिशिएटिव होगा इसलिए आपको लाहौर चले जाना चाहिए.
The Congress Vice President charging the central government with muzzling the voices of not only the people of the country but also accusing the Prime Minister of not accommodating views from within his own party. In a strong counter to Rahul Gandhi's charge, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley wrote on his Facebook blog that the Prime Minister is a hands-on leader and the UPA had only propped a nominal head for the post while the power lay elsewhere. Rahul Gandhi also took on the centre for its handling on the JNU issue and the Rohit Vemula case. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, on to some other news, and India on Wednesday sent another strong message to Pakistan to act on the terrorists involved in the Pathankot attack. Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar on Wednesday said that action on the 2nd of January terror attack will have more significance for the government over India-Pakistan dialogue. S. Jaishankar was replying to questions during an interactive session at the Raisina Dialogue, a conclave on geoeconomics and geopolitics.
In the wake of the Pathankot attack, India restating its priorities in its dialogue with Pakistan. On Wednesday, Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar said action against terror by Pakistan will take precedence over the talks.
In the aftermath of a terrorist attack, if you ask me, so what do you give priority to, a terrorist attack or a diplomatic dialogue? I think the answer should be obvious.
Jaishankar said both countries are in touch with each other, at least at the National Security Advisor level. This is in addition to what he called parallel processes at work. Jaishankar also highlighted the difference in approach between the two countries. He said India wanted a much more modern relationship that will need a change in attitude towards many issues, with terrorism being the central focus.
When the Pathankot attack happened, then the the governments of India and Pakistan have been in touch, primarily through the NSA, to some extent communications between me and my counterpart. There was also a phone call between Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and our Prime Minister.
After blaming the Pakistani-based Jaish-e-Mohammed group for the Pathankot attack, India is now looking for action against the perpetrators as an important condition in resuming the Indo-Pak Foreign Secretary level talks. India says Jaish-e chief Masood Azhar had masterminded the attack. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And shocking news coming in from Chhattisgarh, where Maoists have killed at least 16 villagers in Ambuj Mar area of the insurgency-hit Narayanpur district. They carried out the killings, suspecting them to be informers in the last few days. The security forces have been rushed to the villages to contain the situation. The forces have been directed to be extra cautious while moving into the forest so as not to fall into any trap. Well, there were similar reports from elsewhere too, and police teams have been sent to verify them. Now, PTI quotes sources in the police as saying that some senior Maoist leaders recently met in the area after the Ultras suffered major setbacks in encounters with police in the region. Meanwhile, as many as 23 Maoist rebels surrendered before the Jagdalpur police. The surrendered labels were active in the Bastar-Jagdalpur belt since 2004.
आज कुमा कोलिंग क्षेत्र से कुल 23 माओवादी समर्पण कर रहे हैं। ये वो नक्सली है जो कि बाहरी नक्सली का मेन ताकत बनकर वहाँ काम करते थे। अभी इन्होंने सरेंडर के बाद में हम इनको पूछताछ करेंगे और भी पूछताछ चलेगी और कई अहम जानकारी इनसे हमको प्राप्त होगा।
In other news, the Reserve Bank's decision to amend the capital valuation rules as per the Basel III framework was welcomed by banks across India. The amendment is likely to boost Crowe equity of lenders. The RBI released the amendments to the rules of recognizing capital buffers for banks in line with the best practices, which can unlock up to 40,000 crore rupees in the capital in the system. This, according to analysts, can effectively release 4 trillion rupees in lendable capital for banks. Banks normally take 10 times leverage on their core capital. The changes ushered are on property revaluation, forest reserves and double taxation avoidance. Under the new norms, banks can leverage 45% of the revaluation reserves, 75% of their foreign currency translation reserve and 11.8% of deferred tax assets under Tier 1 capital. News from Tamil Nadu now, where the government there has written a letter to the Home Ministry seeking its opinion on releasing the 7 convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. The letter stated that while the state has already decided to release the 7 convicts, it is necessary to seek the centre's opinion under Section 435 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. The Tamil Nadu government wants the appeal of the accused to be reconsidered. Now, this comes after all the 7 convicts appealed to Chief Minister Jayalalitha for release, as they have already spent 24 years in imprisonment. The Jayalalitha-led government had sent a similar note in February 2014 to the UPA government after the Supreme Court commuted the death sentence of the 3 convicts, citing inordinate delay by the executive in deciding their mercy plea. All the 7 were convicted by a special Tata court for their role in the assassination of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi on 21st of May 1991 during an election rally.
I think the Tamil Nadu government must have consulted legal experts, judicial experts, and I think within the powers the government they are doing this. And in a way, they have sought the opinion of central government also. Let us wait how this is going to develop in the coming days.
Well, a very short break in here. Up next, we have all the international news and sports news. Stay tuned.
We have only exploited less than 1% of the, you can say, the microorganisms that exist in the world. Technology is coming up through which we can culture these microorganisms, and I mean, like, they can be a source of novel bioactive molecules. We are living in basically post-antibiotic era right now. It becomes even more important to look for the newer molecules and newer scaffolds which can overcome the resistance.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Bhaval Ali Shah, scientist at CSIR IIM, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. The big international story now. Just hours after UN imposed fresh sanctions on North Korea, Pyongyang fired short-range missiles into the sea off its eastern coast. Now, South Korean Defense Ministry has confirmed the report. Under the new sanctions, all cargo moving in and out of North Korea will now be inspected. 12 organizations have also been blacklisted. Well, the vote came in response to Pyongyang's nuclear test last month.
The result of the voting is the following. The draft resolution received 15 votes in favor. The draft resolution has been adopted unanimously as Resolution 2270/2016.
The United Nations unanimously adopted a US-China resolution expanding sanctions on North Korea, the toughest in 2 decades.
Stroke 2016-202, please raise their hands.
16 new individuals and 12 organizations in North Korea have been blacklisted.
As the resolution that we have adopted today underscores, virtually all of the DPRK's resources are channeled into its reckless and relentless pursuit of weapons of mass destruction. The North Korean government would rather grow its nuclear weapons program than grow its own children.
North Korea's nuclear weapons and missile programs are the greatest threats to peace and security in my part of the world. If we are unable to stop Pyongyang's continued pursuit of a nuclear arsenal, it will fuel vicious cycle of a regional arms race in an already heavily armed region.
Under the new sanctions, a ban has been imposed on the export of coal, iron and iron ore used for North Korea's nuclear or ballistic missile programs. A ban on all exports of gold, titanium ore, vanadium ore and rare earth minerals. A ban on aviation fuel exports to the country, including kerosene-type rocket fuel. There is also a ban on military and police cooperation, closing down North Korea's training programs abroad, especially in Africa. Upmarket watches, watercraft, snowmobiles and other recreational sports equipment have been added to a ban on luxury goods. Countries working in North Korea's financial and banking sector are now obliged to freeze the assets of companies and other entities linked to North Korea's nuclear and missile programs. The expanded sanctions comes in response to North Korea's latest nuclear test on January 6th and February 7th. However, Pyongyang continues to defend that it was a peaceful satellite launch. North Korea has been under UN sanctions since 2006 for earlier nuclear tests and multiple rocket launches. The US-China brokered resolution was the result of 2 months of bilateral negotiations involving US President Barack Obama and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. China then agreed to support tough sanctions proposed by the US. However, Beijing is very concerned about the possible deployment of an advanced US missile system in South Korea, a real cause of concern for the North Korean ally. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
News from the US. Well, just a day after Donald Trump's big 7-state victory on Super Tuesday, US Republicans are speaking out against him, pointing at a clear rift in the party over Trump's nomination as their presidential candidate. The multi-billionaire Trump, in his victory speech, had described himself as a unifier, but is strongly opposed by party veterans. Senator Lindsey Graham warned that Trump would lose in November's election. Meanwhile, another Republican, Ben Carson, said that he might drop out of the race. Former Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney has said that he would make a speech on Thursday in which he is expected to challenge Trump. After Trump's big victories on Super Tuesday, he has emerged as the most likely Republican candidate to race for the White House.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The political class and their minions, which includes much of the media, you know, they don't like it when someone challenges their authority. And I think I'm probably the epitome of someone who challenges their authority. And I absolutely have refused to cooperate with the billionaires and the special interests, and they don't seem to get it.
Malaysia's transport minister said on Wednesday that there is a high possibility that a piece of debris that washed up in Mozambique is from a Boeing 777, but whether it belongs to a missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 still needs to be verified. The debris was found on a sandbank in the Mozambique Channel. The photos of the debris appear to show the fixed leading edge of the right-hand tail section of a Boeing 777. Now, engineers who had looked at the debris believed that there was a good chance that it indeed belonged to 370, and if confirmed, it would be the second piece of debris found from the ill-fated plane. Last year, authorities found a piece of the plane's wing on the shore of Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean on the other side of Madagascar. MH370, which disappeared 2 years ago with 239 people on board while flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. It is the only known missing 77. Its disappearance has led to the largest and the most expensive search in the aviation history. Let's get you some more international news now in World Wrap. The United States says it does not want China to use its navy to intimidate fishing vessels from other countries in a disputed area of the South China Sea. US said this after Philippine officials said on Wednesday that China had sent as many as 7 ships to Crowe atoll in recent weeks, preventing Philippines fishermen from accessing traditional fishing grounds, while China, on the other hand, accuses US of raising the South China Sea issue to contain its rise in the region. 7 men were killed in armed clashes with the Jordanian special forces. Jordan's intelligence agency said that these men had ties with the Islamic State extremist group and had planned attacks on military and civilian targets in the kingdom. The deadly confrontation sparked by an arson raid took place late on Tuesday in the northern city of Irbid. The men killed in the raid wore explosive belts, and weapons and explosives were found at the scene. 18 fighters were killed in a car bomb blast that hit a Syria insurgent group in the another province of Quneitra. It is believed that the attack was likely carried out by hardline Islamists. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that the explosion took place in the village of Al-Isha, hitting a base belonging to a Free Syrian Army group. The incident did not appear to be related to the current cessation of hostilities between the Syrian government and its allies and the non-jihadist insurgent groups. The European Union, faced with a burgeoning refugee crisis in Greece, launched a new aid program worth an initial €700 million. As European states have closed borders following the arrival of early million migrants by sea from Turkey last year, the Athens government has appealed for help to house and care for tens of thousands still arriving and now stranded in Greece. Well, New Zealand cricket legend Martin Crowe passed away at the age of 53 after a prolonged battle with cancer. He had been diagnosed with follicular lymphoma in October 2012 and he underwent a treatment for the cancer, but it relapsed in September 2014. Doctors identified his condition as a double-hit lymphoma, a rare and aggressive blood disease. Only 5% of these people who are diagnosed with it live for more than 12 months. The former Black Caps captain scored 17 centuries in 77 tests for his country, leading his country between 1990 and 1993. He also played 143 ODIs for New Zealand. He made a considerable mark both on and off the pitch during a life spent in sport. Martin Crowe's 14 years wearing the silver fern saw the world's best bowling attacks dispatched to all corners by a batsman blessed with a wide array of strokes. The right-hander Crowe finished his Test career with 5,444 runs and 4,704 runs at an average of 38.55 in ODIs. Crowe is survived by his wife, a daughter and stepchildren. Well, India and Bangladesh will be battling out at the final of the Asia Cup T20 tournament after Bangladesh recorded a stunning 5-wicket victory against Pakistan last night. It was a low-scoring thriller as Bangladesh needed just 130 to win. M. Riyad and M. Mortaza added 27 in only 1.5 overs to help Bangladesh overwhelm the target with 5 balls to spare. Although it was a tense final, few over as Bangladesh withered the storm of Mohammad Amir after they looked in trouble at 104 for 5. More sporting action now in Sports Beat. Indian women's team cruised into the main draw of the World Table Tennis Championship after thrashing Croatia 3-0 in a second division group match. Manika Batra, Mona Das and K. Shami won their respective matches as the Indian Eves blanked Croatia and they topped Group G. Manika beat Lee Roka 11-8, 12-10, 8-11, 11-6 to provide the lead, which was then consolidated by Moma, who defeated Yuan Tian 13-11, 9-11, 11-8, 11-2. In the third singles, Shami downed Ivana Tarbonalic 14-12, 11-8, 7-11, 11-3 to complete the drubbing. That's all in this edition of news. Thanks for watching.